It seems like when he went to the woman and said, "Give me a drink," he was referring to a spiritual talk, and the woman heard drink and was looking at it as a physical thing, meaning that he literally wanted a drink of water. Like basically having a spiritual conversation. Then in his response, whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. The physical well water, something that is natural, something that can, your body will always need water. Physical things can deteriorate, but the water that Jesus wanted to give her, she would never run out because it's coming from a spiritual place and a positive place, and that will feed her spirit continually. It says it will be a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life. So maybe it's like a good foundation. It's going to be a solid foundation within you. It also seems like maybe the woman was seeking something and she went out to the well and Jesus just came upon her. One of those perfect divine timings. She was seeking something. She was looking for an answer to some problems in her life, and the solution came to her. Kind of like when some people are looking for love in all the wrong places. Also, in this story, don't knock where you can receive your potential blessings from. Sometimes if everything that you're asking for may be right in front of you, but that person that you refuse to talk to, that homeless person, that gangbanger, whatever you're judging incorrectly in that moment potentially, even if it's true, you may get one good thing that you need from that person in that conversation. Now, obviously, we're going to use discernment. I'm not talking about if you're being attacked, but just a general conversation with somebody that you feel like you would never talk to or whatever like that. No one is all good and no one is all bad. We all have a bit of both in us. Sometimes we have to look past the bad for the greater good. And sometimes we need to develop the patience to deal with people that we normally wouldn't deal with. She also kept it real about her situation with men, that she is not married. It seemed like it was like God was confronting her to see if she would tell the truth, even though God already knew the answers. You can't lie to yourself on certain topics. We can lie to people, but we can't lie to ourselves, and only we know individually when we're lying. Sometimes we can deceive ourselves thinking that we're doing right when we're doing wrong and things like that, but a flat-out lie, only you would know that truly. First thoughts about this passage is to be careful to who and what you listen to. Be careful who you hang out with. What are you doing on a daily basis? Maybe you are worshiping fear, anger, etc., and not worshiping in love and wisdom. You're going to church or you're taking spirituality classes every day. Whatever it is, you're doing everything on the outside, but on the inside spiritually, you're really a piece of shit to people. You don't fully practice what you've been preaching. So once again, what is your foundation made of? Is your foundation coming from a place of love? Or is it coming from a place of anger and bitterness and negativity and things like that? And also, the woman says, "He will tell us all things." And Jesus' response was, "I who speak to you am he." So she was looking for something and didn't even realize that it was right there in front of her the whole time. This whole time, you have been talking to the Christ. You've been talking to God, and you just didn't recognize it in the moment. It seems like sometimes people keep looking and praying to God for help. He is right there talking to you, dead in your face, but you're not paying attention. You don't have to wait until you die or until you're in a bad situation to get what you want. When you practice getting in tune with yourself and setting up your own foundation, your own relationship with the higher, you will be paying attention more and noticing things that are working in your favor. Sometimes it's right there in front of your face, right under your nose. You have no word in you. There's no Spirit of God abiding in you. You read the Bible every single day. You go to church every Sunday and all of these things, being a Bible thumper. And none of that matters if it's not engrafted into your spirit. It's not ingrained in you. You're just reading, regurgitating. You're not practicing what you're reading in any particular spiritual text. It's not settling into you. It's almost like if God is love, love will recognize love. And it was recognized that there was no love abiding in that person. In that moment, real recognizes real. Religious people, how do you claim a religion that is supposed to be based on love and peace and have hate in your heart, hate towards other people, doing hate to other people, killing in the name of God? How? You don't believe the physical things you can see with your own eyes. So how can you believe and see in the things that you cannot see with your physical eyes? Seek godly things like wisdom, love, patience, spiritual food, not physical food. In that moment, believe in who was sent. It could be a mechanic, your brother, your sister, homeless person, whatever. The message is more important than the messenger to me. God could talk to you through anybody. Be careful how you talk to people. Be careful how you treat people. Any moment you can get a blessing from someone. You heard God speak to you through a sermon or was talking to you through a casual conversation. You just got spiritually fed and you're hungry for more. Some of that word stuck to you and grafted into you. Have you ever been in the flow and you're talking to someone and you say something to them that they're just amazed at, or it's like, oh my God, I was just thinking about that. Or you just answered a question that I was seeking this morning. When those type of things happen, I don't take credit in the moment because I feel like that was the higher power speaking through me in that moment to talk directly to that person. So when you're saying something and a light bulb goes off in that person's head, that aha moment, it seems to me that that's God talking through you. How did I say what you needed to hear when I didn't even know what you were going through? Or I conveyed it in a way that you were trying to wrap words around how you're feeling, but you couldn't truly express it with words. And then somebody says something to you that ties it all up in that moment. It's just being in the flow of the conversation and just not overthinking anything that's happening in that moment, especially when you're coming from a place of non-judgment, love, patience, things of that nature. And when you do have somebody say something to you, let's say you kept a secret to yourself, you didn't express this to anyone, you didn't say it out loud, you didn't put it in your phone. Explain how you have these interactions with people and they're speaking on something that you know you didn't tell anyone about. And they're talking directly to you about that particular situation. It's just something to think about sometimes. Bless others with your blessings. And don't be too proud to do something that you used to do. If God blesses you, be a good steward of that blessing and hook other people up with the blessing. Your teacher, your master is washing your feet. It's almost like don't get all high and mighty to when you get into a better position in your life, you forgot where you came from. And don't be too good to do things like that, even though you're not doing it currently. And yes, you were doing that in the past, but follow my lead, follow my example. Don't get too high-minded about it. That spoke to me because I used to dump garbage for a living as a sanitation worker. I told myself I'm never doing that again. I'm not dumping no garbage. But I always find myself helping people take their garbage out still. And this scripture spoke to me because it reminded me of that. Granted, I don't do that anymore. I left it for a reason. But when the situation calls for it, I'm still willing to do that for people. I'm not too high and mighty to take out the trash anymore. I could just have somebody take it out for me. I could make you do it yourself, but I still do that. So that's what I took from this. And even though the teacher is washing the feet of his servant, he's still the teacher. His power and rank is not diminished from the act that he is doing either. He has a solid foundation within himself. I don't look at this verse like a lot of people that I've talked to about this, where they feel like Jesus is the only way to God, because I don't agree with that. And my notes as follow. What if Jesus was saying I'm the way because he knew he was the only person in the area preaching the truth, being in tune with God? I'm the way meaning I am a way to God because of what I'm teaching you through my parables, what I'm telling you all you should do. I'm the way and the path to what you want, but you also have to do it for yourself in your own way. I am the way to me does not mean I am the only way. I am a way is how I look at that. I don't believe that there's only one way to God through being a follower of Jesus. I don't believe that. I believe there are multiple ways to God. What about this? If McDonald's were to say, I'm the only way you can get a cheeseburger, I am the way. It's the only McDonald's in the area or in that part of the world. But there's other people that can make a cheeseburger. You can make one yourself. It's not I am a way, but I'm not the only way for you to get this cheeseburger. So I don't know. But that's why I like doing these videos, is because I'm not speaking from authority. Maybe somebody has a different perspective about it and it's like, oh, I didn't consider that. That's why I am opening up this for dialogue, to have a conversation with people about their opinions and interpretations of scriptures. When I read this, I immediately didn't think literally die for your friends. And then I applied it to myself and I thought, well, I love my friends. I love family members. But would I necessarily say I would die for them? At this point in my life, no. I don't see myself laying my life on the line for my friends. But I don't think that's what it was talking about in that moment. So it's like lay your life down to help people. You have a life and you You take a part of yourself out the equation and you put other people before you, whether it's listening to people, paying attention to your friends and family when they're in a time of need. You're taking time from work and your busy schedule to give someone your time to be in there. Lay down your busy life for your friends and family. You know, some people will die. I don't have children. I would assume that once I have children that I may feel differently about dying for someone. But right now, that is not the case. You have to be honest with yourself before you can be honest with anybody else. Keep it real. My initial thoughts as follow is that God is enough. Focus on God. Put God first. And then these things will be added to you. Seek the Father. Seek God first. Then these things will be added to you. I don't interpret the scripture as seek Jesus first and then. Because Jesus is always referencing the Father. I can't do certain things without the Father. The Father is in me. The Father this, the Father that. I remember even as a kid when I was growing up and listening to adults talk about this subject, they made it seem like Jesus was God. And I was like, well, which way is it? Is it that God is God and God created Jesus, or is it the other way around? So another part of this journey of what I'm doing right now pertaining to the Bible is that when I read it for myself, and I will just write down whatever thoughts came to me through that. So also, him not being there anymore will show you that you can do the same things. I look at Jesus as a person that was empowering people, not to just be a follower and then that's it. Like, I don't agree with that. And if anything, you need to rely on the Father. You need to rely on the same source that Jesus was relying on, which was the Father. Like, that just makes more sense to me. And also, how can you build your own relationship with the Father, with God, if you constantly rely on Jesus or Buddha or the church or your wife or your friends or whatever else is out here that you could follow? How are you truly building that true relationship up with the source of it all, the Father? It also seemed like he was saying, if you let me go, I can send the helper to you. We can't receive something if we're holding on to it, type of thing. Our fists are clenched, closed. It seemed like he was saying, if you let go, you can get even more help. It almost seems like it was to their advantage of letting go and moving on. And you don't forget people. It's not like they're going to forget him, but it's not like he's not warning them, but it's like, hey, there's more to this than what you're seeing right now. You could be blocking even more help. Yeah, I'm a helper here physically with you, but there's another helper. There's more help on the way. It's not over with. So, and I remember even being scared to even say stuff like this because people going to feel how they feel. And that's fine, but let's talk it out. All this censorship and stuff going on right now, people hear something they don't agree with. They want to shut you up. They want to shut your page down. They want to shut your YouTube down. They want to shut everything down. They don't want to talk. So it's about talking with me. It's okay to not agree on stuff. You can have a civilized conversation with people, have differing opinions. Talk it out. One of the parts that really stands out to me in this verse is that in that day you will ask in my name, and I do not say to you that I shall pray the Father for you, for the Father himself loves you because you have loved me. So what I take from that is that it's going to come a time where you need to, I'm not going to be praying for you anymore. You need to start doing this for yourself. You have a direct connection to God. It seems like he knows that he's about to leave his disciples. He's about to leave the world physically. And he's letting them know, like, hey, I've taught you all I need to teach you. Now it's time for you to go your way and build your relationship with the Father, the same relationship that I have. And you can do this. That's how I look at a lot of these texts, a lot of the scriptures with Jesus in it. I look at it as empowerment, not to be a follower necessarily, but empowering you to do things yourself with the help of the Father. Obviously, you can't do everything by yourself, but you don't have to rely on me to do everything for you. You have a connection to God also, in the same way I have a connection to God. I remember when I was younger, I was asking myself, well, if God is above Jesus, why don't I just go straight to the source? It's like a child asking for permission to speak to his parents type of thing. It's like, yeah, you got to go talk to your uncle first and then come to me. Like, no, a child, you go straight to your father. You go straight to your mother, straight to the source. You don't ask for permission to do that. In the following notes, it seems like the journey is over with. I'm letting you know that we all about to split up and go our separate ways. I'm about to bounce. You need to hold down your own experience and your own relationship with God and take these things that I've taught you. I told you everything that I know. I held nothing back. Basically, if you snoozed, you lose. It seems like Jesus literally told them everything that he knows and everything to do to live a fulfilling life. And whether you heard or not, if you don't hear it in this life, maybe you'll hear it in the next life. or you'll hear it later on in your current life if you didn't hear everything that you needed to hear from what he has said. And it also seems like Jesus pointed out to them that he is never alone because he has a relationship with the Father. So he can never be alone because he has that direct connection. You can have that direct connection too with the Creator. Everyone needs that for themselves. It also seems like this inner relationship with the Father is greater than any physical relationship that you can have with anybody. That this is the most important relationship to have, is the relationship with the Father. Allow God to show you that. And it also seems like when he told them to be of good cheer, for he has overcame the world, it's another example of, hey, if I did it, you can do it also. I've overcome the world. I've overcome all of these outside factors in life, the things that can distract you. I've overcome the haters, the liars, the thieves, the killers, non-believers. All of that stuff has not shifted my relationship with the Father. I've overcome all of these things that has came my way. His inner peace trumps the outer things that the world has brought to him. You can choose to look at the good in life. You can choose to look at the bad in life, but it's always your choice.